Hi all. Welcome to another day on this JMeter training. And as a recap, we are discussing the core concepts. So in this, uh, like till yesterday, we have talked about HTML request response embedded resources, right? So we'll continue on that. Okay. Here, mm, yeah. So coming to request header and response header, that what are they? Correct? They were some uh, they were mysterious stuff, right? So what are they? All had joined. Right? So let me just open that browser and again. Fine. Okay. So suppose again, like suppose I'm clicking on this kitchen and dining set, right? So again, as usual, we know one request will be generated. So we can see that request here, and that it reflects here also. So that's why it can also be considered as a URL, correct? URL. And uh, yeah, then we know, right? We have a response, and that response always comes in code form. Correct? This is the code, and it got rendered, and then we see uh, this page which is here also. Correct. Now, so we have discussed all those things. Now, what is left is about response header and request header. Okay. Now, see. So, what are they? First, we have to understand. So, a request and response has this part. Now, why they are or what are they? So, we will just read it. So, request header are additional information which goes to the server with a request body from user end. Okay, basically from browser side, and each request body has a request header, correct? And this information, right? So, these information include some keywords are there. Okay, so I'll come to that. Wait. Same way, this response header, they are additional information sent by server with the response body to the user. Okay, and each response body has response header. Then these information also include some attributes or keys are there, right? Just a second. Okay, right. So uh, we will go back here and understand. So if you see request header, so this blue stuff that you see, right? That is a name, or you can say attribute, or you can also call it as a key. Okay, key, and or in simple language, understand name or attribute, correct? And these are the values. Okay. So if you go anywhere, means any request header, if you try to read, this will be common. This name that are seen in blue will be common. Okay. Only this part changes. It changes depending on request to request and uh, website to website. Every website will have this stuff different, right? This value, but this thing will be common because that is a name. Okay, that is a name. Like yeah, same way. Some stuff which is here, same way in response header. This stuff will be almost common to every website or every request that is sent, every response that is coming. But after that, uh, we have the value for each of them, right? Each name or each attribute or each key has some value. So that changes. Okay, that changes. Now, again, we do not have to worry, as I'm saying. What we have to do is we have to just understand the concept. Okay, so we got it, right? We understood it. So some common uh, names or some common attribute like accept is there, accept encoding, language, okay, cache control, connection, cookie, host is there, referrer, right? So I'll explain this in one small word. I'll explain this. Do not worry. Here, user agent is there. So you will always see them everywhere. In every header, you will see. Same way here also, content type, right? Content language, content encoding, cache control. Okay. These are some common stuff, right? Now, what, why they are there, right? That first we have to understand. So see, request header and response header makes each user action unique to the server, so that server can recognize that request uniquely out of so many requests and sends the correct response. Okay. In this request header and response header, there are many things are there, but especially few attribute or few value is there, which is cookie, right? Especially the cookie. I'll be showing you this as well, not which helps in recognizing your request with the server. Now, what is the meaning of this? Understand in very simple, um, uh, with very simple example. So, we can do this experiment. Okay, try to open two Google Chrome, right, or Mozilla Firefox, whatever, and both in same laptop. Okay, which is connected on same Wi-Fi or whatever. And in both you open Flipkart in both, and here you search suppose Nike shoe, and here you search Adidas shoe. Okay, Adidas shoe. So even laptop is same, Google Chrome browser is same, website is same, but you will never see results miss even if you are trying it at same time. Suppose somehow you manage, you or your friend can take control, and at same time if you are doing this, right? So you will never see this result mismatch. Okay, like Nike shoe we search here, but it came here, the result came here, and Adidas shoe we search here, so it came here. It never happens, right? Even everything is same, right? So how this is possible? We have to understand. And we are not logged in also. No need to log in as well, right? Simply do this experiment. So there will be this question will be there, right? So we have to there should be some answer, right? How this is possible? Even my laptop is same, browser is same, website is same, right? IP address is same, whatever you take, everything is same. But even though website is also same, browser is, so why this result mismatch is not happening? Even we are trying at same time, then also why it's not happening, right? Why this result is not going there and that result is not? Why? How? Correct? How how it is getting recognized, right? Because even we have not logged in, right? Suppose we log in from two different credential, then it is understandable. But if you are not logging in, then how this is possible, right? A major question. So this is where so like that, okay, like that, understand that in this world, this Amazon or the this Amazon or Flipkart, many people, right? Lakhs of people, millions of people will be accessing this, right, at same time, and even they will not be logging in. And suppose someone so let us say 10,000 or 1 lakh people clicked on kitchen and dining. Now someone will be choosing this and someone will be choosing this. So how the Amazon server is responding correctly to them without the incorrect response, correct, without incorrect response, how this is happening, even though without sign in, right? So this happens because of header. Okay, so that's why these headers are important. Got the point? Now, few header, as I said, we will always see very often, and we have to remember also. Correct? Not remember, just understand. So suppose one except, right? So it tells that in which the data transfer in which format it is happening. So generally there are three, four types of formats are there. One is text HTML, one is JSON, and one is XML. Okay, XML. Correct. So in that uh, format it happens. Then this is for content encoding. Okay. For compression, this methodology is used. So content encoding also you will see. Then which language, right? So you can see it's English USA. The communication is happening, right? Then these two will also be there, but they are not that much of significance. We have cookie. Cookie is very important, and this cookie only help us in remembering. That's what the same example I told, right? That which user, which request is for from which device, from which user, right? Without also signing. So we have a different session on cookie only, especially. Okay. Then host means the main application name, right? Referrer, right? Referrer means always remember the previous link. Like first we were on Amazon.com, right? Then I clicked on kitchen and dining, so we came here. So previous link will be referrer, right? Then this one is user agent. Like it tells to the server using which browser, a kind of definition of the browser, because browser they do not understand, they are not human, right? So some technical specification or technical uh, words we have to send in to so that they can understand, right? So user agent, like that here also in response header also cache control, encoding, right? Language, uh, content type, right? Date, and here also cookies will be initially cookie will be there. Okay, cookie will be there, cookies here also cookie will be there. So I'll be showing you, especially we'll be talking about cookies or user session ID. um, okay. So session ID, the example which I've given, right? That which who is responsible for that recognition. So especially the cookie thing, and cookie are part of header only. So in header, not only this, but some other information also, like how the communication should happen in which language, right? Host and other information, compression methodology, data compression. Uh, why this is used? Just a small technical thing. Like suppose if the data is used, right? So what happened? That whole code is compressed from server side and sent to the browser. Okay, compression, right? So that faster data transfer happens. Because if you see, this is so much big code, right? So how to transfer it very fast? Correct. If you see how big it is, do you see how big it is? Correct. So um, this is concepts are used. So like that. Okay. So many things are there. Okay. Not only that, but apart from that, many things are now. So that is what request header, uh, yeah, response header, request header, and response header. Now, one thing which I forgot to explain yesterday. See, this uh, we were on an application called Amazon, right? And we were doing some stuff. Correct. So we did click this, then we click this, and then this, right? Uh, so every user action leads to a request. Correct. Right, request. Now here there are some words or some definition we need to or just concept we have to understand. Okay. So what is that, right? So this part, you see, it is called as domain name or application name. You may see also that is not changing, right? That is constant. So this is called as domain name or application name, right? Or host name also, correct? Host name, application name, domain name. You can call it all these three. Here also you see host, right? Host. So this part is called as host name or application name or domain name or server name also you can say, right? Anything. Then uh, so this is especially this part is host name, domain name or application name or server name we can say, correct? Next is this one. This is called protocol, right? Protocol. So HTTP protocol, that is what we are learning. Then after this domain name, this you will see hash. So hash, this will be basically always home page. Remember, first hash. Okay. So first landing page or home page. Then after hash, whatever the thing we see, right, which is changing whenever we are doing the stuff, that is called as path. Okay, path, right? Path. Now, this again is segregated in more parts, but we do not need to go in more detail. Like you can see here, the structure of a URL, protocol, uh, so port, domain, then path. This whole stuff is called as path, right? But again, that is segregated in so many parts: query, parameter, fragment, all these things. So no need to worry about that much. Just understand this stuff. Right? Just for if anyone want to go deeper, I have kept this screenshot. Okay. So yeah, request header, response header done. Now method. Okay. So HTTP schema has request, response, header. We talked about. Now method are there. Request method and a status code. Right. So method. Generally there are 8 types of methods are there. Okay. And out of them, 4 are very important. 4 no 5 are important. You can say get request, put or patch, delete an option. So you will always see them. This method is always visible whenever you click the request, right? You will get method or like that. Even uh, it will be shown here also, right? Here also. So but no need to worry on this embedded resources. Again, I'm saying, right, we have to just worry about the request, right? The main request, the main HTTP HTML request. Okay. So get request, right? Method is get request. So like that, there are different kind of request. Okay. Now, so out of which the 5 are more important. Okay. Now again in that also, these two and this one you will see very often you will see on the websites. Okay. Mostly you will see on the website. Now get request, what it does. So get request is just for reading the data or fetching the data. Means you are not sending anything, you are just selecting anything, right? Or doing a click. So it's a get request, means fetch the information. Okay, fetch the information, request the data or fetch the information. Okay, so fetch the information from an application, right? Then post request is when you will always see this post request when you are sending some data from your site to the browser. Um, okay, so like suppose this Flipkart and one example, same the study example. Suppose I'll 4248 no 6246 8 10, right? And I'll just click on request OTP. So you see here this method here also it will be visible. It's not becoming bigger, but yeah, it is there. Post request, right? Why post? Because payload, the number that we entered, that went with the request to the server. So payload was there, right? Payload was there. So remember, whenever you'll be sending anything from your side, it can be any information, right? The user payload, we talked yesterday, right? What are the payload? Payload can be anything, your photo, your resume, anything, right? A zip file, whatever you are sending to the server with the request. That request will always be a post request. Okay. Now, now we have options. Okay. Option request. What is this? Okay. Fine. So next will be option. So option request is not that much important, but you will always observe them. Okay. Mostly sometime, right? Not always, but you'll observe them again whenever you will be doing some activity. So currently I cannot show you because it always doesn't happens. But suppose here it's happening. You see, option is there. Okay. So generally option request. Yeah, it's option request. They do not do anything. Okay. They are just pre-flight request. Pre-flight request means uh, before get request or before post request, they gets fired. Okay, to check the connection or yeah, like that you can understand, right? So they are just a pre-flight request executed generally before a post or get request, right? So you will see them obviously, but they are not very much important. Okay. So this done, this done, right? Now then we have put and delete. Put is also patch, right? And then delete. So put request, very rare you will see, and delete request also, or method you can say, very rarely you will see. Okay. Especially in API testing, you will observe put and delete. Now when put will be there, so put is kind of update. So if you are updating some information in an application, so that will be put or patch. Already some existing information are there, and then there is a request which is taking some payload. Okay, it will always take payload. Remember, what is the difference between post request and put request? Remember, both will take payload, means you will be sending some data to the server, but this is the normal request. Like, it is not updating. Suppose you are sending your username and password, you are signing in, you are not updating, right? You are trying to sign in. Correct. So all those kind of thing will be post request only, right? All those thing will be post request. But here also payload will be there, but that will be in a special case when that payload is going to update something, right? Some existing data in the application, in the database, that will be put or patch request. Okay. So in interview, this question can generally asked also about this request, and then delete. So delete is the last important one. So to delete some stuff, a request is sent, right? So that type is of delete. Okay. Now, out of this, as I said, these four are important. Four are important, and these four can also be correlated, right? Correlated with a CRUD operation that happens in DB database. So hope you are a little bit aware of SQL database, all this thing, right? So sometime, some every maybe in your our lifetime, we have done some SQL operation or some SQL query, right? Even just to read them what they are, right? We must have done this, correct? So so in that is CRUD, create, read, update, delete, right? So create. Can you tell me? Can anyone tell me, like, what is create? Right. Uh, Create database itself is a keyword. Yeah. creating a database or creating a table, right? So create. So the same thing, creating a record, that is also insert query, insert insert query, correct? Which sends the record to a database insert query. So post requests also behave like that. They send the data, right? Then we have select query, right? Select query in SQL, right? Which reads the data, right? R. So get request, what they does, they reads the data. Means most of the request will be always get request because we are just clicking them to read the data. Okay, fetching the data. What it means that suppose uh, we clicked on suppose I'm clicking I'll click on this, right? So it means what, that I want to know more about this, right? So this request will go and server will send next page related to this. So get, right, get the information, right? So all this call mostly you will see will always be get request form. Yeah, get request. Okay, so that is get request, reading information. Then so insert query, select query, then we have update query. So to update any record in database, we use update query, right? Update is there. So same way, this put and patch request does the same thing, right? And then we have delete query to delete some record, right? Uh, so here delete request also do the same, right? So interrelated, those things are interrelated. Now next is HTTP. So a request method done, right? Request method done. Then we have a status code, status or response code. So that is the last attribute of HTTP protocol. So there are 5 kind of status code. Okay, remember 100 series, 200 series, 300 series, 400 series, 500 series. In them also some segregations are there, like subparts are there. In 100 series there are 3 types. In 200 series there are few. Then 300 series there are few. 400 series there are few, and 500 series there are also few. Right now, on application, mostly most of the time you will see this. You will very rarely see. You will see 200, 201, 202. Okay, generally these all mostly you will see. So you can check them here as well. Do you see a status code here? All status, but we do not worry about embedded resources, as I said, about the request. So the main request. So this was the request, right? So what is the its status? 200, right? 200. So that's what 200, 200, 201, 202, and yeah, this you will see sometime. Generally, yeah, these three you will always see. So it means that successful transaction. It means that what you are clicking and what server is sending you, that happened successfully, right? So this status code, this you will never see only. Even I have not seen this now till now. And okay, so these all are about success transaction. Means the transaction happened successfully, right? So we do not have worry. We do not have to worry about them. We have to just understand them, right? So 200 series you'll see. Then 300 series is about redirect. Okay. So in that you will see mostly 302, 302, and uh, 302, and maybe sometime 307 or 308. Okay, but 302 will be common. I'll show you also about 302 redirect. So this is also part of normal behavior one. Okay. Then comes 400 series. 400 series is important. There are so many also if you see, and in them very often you will observe bad request, unauthorized, forbidden. not found, method not allowed. Okay. Request timeout. Then 429, too many requests. Okay. These all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Generally, these 7 you will mostly see. Now, when you will see them, okay, these you will not see them when you are browsing here or you are doing anything here. You will never see 400 stuff. Not never, yeah, means yeah, mostly you will never see them here. So where we see them when we use some tool, okay, to send the request. And if that request is not sent correctly, like this is the request, right? So currently the browser has sent it. When we click that, this request automatically got generated and browse send it, right? Fine. But in the testing world, these are the requests which we have to use, and we have to use the tool. So the tool will be sending this thing, correct? Now, when tool is sending this thing, any tool like let us say performance testing tool or Postman also, for API testing, we use functional testing of API. Postman is a tool, right? So they will be sending this request, those tools. Now, if they are not sending this request correctly, uh, so that time you can see this 400 series a status code or response code, and that is where we need to worry. We need to worry means the means we have to focus on uh, what we are sending is not correct, and we have to rectify it or we have to correct it. Correct. So since we are going to prepare a script and script does the same thing which normal user does, right? So it means that we will be simulating the same request response concept. Why we are learning this? Because see, that is what we have to understand. A normal user does what? Suppose he launched Amazon, then we clicked on this was of yesterday, one refrigerator, right? Then we selected higher refrigerator, and then we click on buy now, right? We clicked on buy now. So that is on UI, user interface. A user is doing that. But in the network tab, in the background, what is happening? A request is going, right? A request is going. A request is going, correct? Which a normal user doesn't know. But as a technical people, we should know, right? So a request is going. So at the end of the day, what is going to the server? Your click is going to the server, or this request is going to the server? The request is going to the server, right? So this same request stuff thing, request response thing, header thing is simulated. Means this is what made in the tool, in any tool, right? It is simulated. So next time, suppose this 4 only I'll simulate, right? So what will happen? Uh, so in real time, okay, one user launch homepage, then he click on refrigerator, then he selected one higher refrigerator, then he clicked on buy now, right? But at the end of the day, request is going, and this request is what load, right? Load going to the server, right? So now the same thing will be simulated in the tool. So tool will be sending this request only. We have to that is what preparing a script in such a way that they will be sending this script, okay, and that is where they will be simulating the load, correct? One user load, 100 user load, 10,000 user load. So suppose this stuff only will simulate and run for a 1,000 users. So what will happen? 1,000 user will be sending this, then this, then this, then this. So load testing happening, right? So this what? So that is where so when in the tool, especially when these requests are not sent correctly, so we this status code we will always see them, right? So that is where we have to rectify while preparing the script. We have to always rectify them, right? So that the request goes proper way, the correct way, and you should not see any of these codes, right? So we will see slowly. So remember, right? This code you will never see in a browser. You will only see when you are using any tool which is simulating or which is mocking the request. Okay, right? That time if request is not going correctly, so this all thing can be uh, can come. So few thing I can explain, like suppose bad request. This comes when like the request that you send is not correct. So bad request. Unauthorized. Unauthorized means suppose you are sending a request which needs some sign in, okay, or login, but you are not correctly sending it. So unauthorized. Forbidden. Forbidden means you are sending a request to access some information, but you are not allowed. So forbidden, not found means if you are sending a request and let us say that information is not there, so not found. Method not allowed. Method not allowed means the same thing. We just discussed, right? Suppose there is a post request or get request. Suppose there was a put request, but you send it as a post request. So which is wrong, right? So that time you can get an error like that. Okay, method that method is not correct. Method not allowed. Request timeout. Sometime and say you are sending a request to access some information from website, and then it is taking very much time. So request timeout can come, and then too many requests also. This error sometime it comes. Now see too many requests. Actually, it is uh, there in this 400 series error category, but actually it's a server problem. Now, what is server problem? So server problem is this 500 series. 500 series are not very much, but this is what we have to find out. Okay, so suppose many time you might have seen that sometime service unavailable, gateway timeout, this kind of error you might have seen in your life, right? Internal server error, correct? So this is where server is throwing problem. Okay, when we are doing load testing, or normally also you might have seen sometimes some website page doesn't open and it shows internal server error or service unavailable, right? Or gateway timeout error. It means that server has the problem, and this is where we are going to find this. Okay, so these are the causes, correct? uh, means this is what we have to find when we do a load testing, right? Like when you run for 1000 user or 1000 user or 5000 user. So if any problem happens, like let us say this example I generally show many times, right? So we run for 100 user, and then here out of 112 time it got failed. Now what are the failures? So failure, if you see, it was 500 error. 500 error means server error, right? Server failed to respond. Out of 100 time, 12 time it failed to respond, right? So 500 error is what? Here, internal server error, correct? So these are the error related to server, and this is what we are going to find. This is the purpose of performance testing, correct? So not only this, so many are there. Any server error, what are the common error that you will see? 500 internal server error, bad gateway, okay, 502, 503 service unavailable, and 504 gateway timeout. These four you will very see very often. Okay, so that's why it's called server error. This is called client error. Client means user error. When user is sending that request and it's not correct, so those error will come. Okay, only remember this 429 is actually server error, but somehow they have categorized in this client error. Actually, in one way it's correct only, uh, but I cannot explain this now. It can, yeah, if you try to understand, I'll explain. See, too many requests means, suppose there is some page. Okay, suppose what happens when we do a load testing, right? So suppose this is a page and you are trying to access this page. So you'll be sending this request, and you'll trying to access this page, right? Now what happened when we send this request, suppose 1000 times or 10,000 times from same IP, same network. So that time server creates a conflict that, hey, from same machine, that request is coming, that so many requests is coming. Okay, which is not proper, because in real time from one laptop or one mobile there will be one way, only one request. But here, since using a load testing tool, right? Using my laptop only, using JMeter, I will be sending this request 1000 time I can send and put 1000 user load or 100 user load. But the IP address and other thing will be same, right? The network bandwidth will be same, correct? So that time this error can come 429. So that's why uh, actually if you think it's a user problem also, right? Why it's a user problem? Because in real time one user is not expected to send those many requests from a server, sorry, from his laptop, right? His machine. In real time, it never happens, right? So that's why actually this categorization is correct only. Okay. So you can, this is not an complete error also, you can think. We can ignore this error as well because it's not a client error also, it's not a server problem also. Okay. But server actually it's a general error which can be ignored. Right. But what is the meaning of this? Hope you understand, right? So that's why you will see them whenever you will be doing load testing. Or many time you can see them if so many security layer will be there on application. That will that time you can see them. Fine. So that is about code, status code. Now transaction. So coming to a transaction or a user action. Now, what is a transaction and what is user action? Hope you got idea, right? That whenever we do a user action, technically that is called as a transaction. And so, yeah, transaction is an user action uh, performed by an user on web page. It generates HTTP HTML request to the server in the form of URL, correct? Right. So this is understandable. And every such request it got processed when response is coming, it got processed, and then embedded resources will be there which get retrieved, right? So that is there. Fine. Now what is a transaction in reality? So see, any user action can only be called as a valid transaction in performance testing when it is generating some request to the server and some uh, it is generating some relevant request to the server and some related yes, relevant response is received. Now, what is the meaning of this line? This is very important line we have to understand. So this is the same line, if you remember, this is same thing which I explained yesterday, that here we entered a wrong number and then I click on continue. So that time, if you see here, nothing is happening, but here message is coming, right? So this cannot be treated as, you cannot think it is a huge case or it is a test case to test in performance testing. No, because here nothing happens. Only when user action you are doing and a related proper request is going and response is coming, that time only that user action we can consider that okay, that is a transaction, right? So like that there are many use cases. Suppose I'm hovering my mouse here, so you see drop down menus are getting loaded, but on right hand side in network tab, do you see anything happening here? You do not see anything happening, right? So this menu bar, right, they are coming, but we do not see anything happening there, no? So this thing this kind of thing like download of like this hanging of menu bar, or many time you'll see like check boxes will be there and we'll be putting check boxes or pop-up comes yes or no, we are clicking on that. So those kind of user action are not part of performance testing unless and until you see a request getting generated. So sometime it can happen that you are clicking on check boxes and then you see a relevant request going and response coming. So you can consider that time. But if it is not happening, then those user action will not be part of performance test. Okay. So that we have to understand. So that is the definition of a transaction. Correct. So that same thing I have written here, like Java script calls, checkboxes, drop-down menu, or pop-up item. They are generally not part of performance test until unless they are generating a valid request. Fine. Now, then another thing, there can be on a single page also, single web page, there can be multiple transaction, 2 or 3 transaction can be there. So it means that like suppose many time what we see that we clicked something, right? So whole page changes. Suppose I'm clicking on this, so whole content is changing, correct? Fine. So it means that that user action was a transaction, and even we see a request which is generated here. Uh, yeah, this is that. Okay, you can see document and HTML, right? Document HTML. So this is the request. So it got generated, and even it is matching here, and we have a response as well, right? So what I'm trying to say is most of the time when you do a user action, we usually see that whole page gets changed, and we understand okay that is a transaction, fine. But sometime what happen on same page also, but like you'll see that you are doing something, some click means user action, whole page is not changing, but some valid request is going and response is coming. Okay, so that time we have to that is what I'm thinking, that on same page also sometime there can be multiple transaction. Like for an example here, suppose this example. So here suppose I'll rectify this phone number. Now it's 10 digit, and if I click on continue, obviously a request will be made, a post request. But here nothing changed, right? Nothing changed, and some message also came. A request has been made, but whole page is not changing. Right? So in same page also, sometime there can 2 or 3 transaction can be there. Okay. Now this is important. One transaction or one user action can have one HTTP HTML request. Okay. Or sometime it can have a set of multiple HTTP HTML requests made to the server. Multiple means more than one. So the same example like yesterday we did, like we opened Amazon, so one request. Then we click on refrigerator, one request. Then we click on hire refrigerator, one request. But when we clicked on buy, we had two requests. Transaction was only one, we have two requests. So it can happen. I will show you that demo again. Here only, here also, uh, we clicked when we clicked on that button, and when this the stuff came, right? So you see here get request, and that same request is here also. Okay, both are same. If you see the file name, it is same. Both are document HTML and HTML. Okay, but actually if you see, and so that can create a confusion, right? But actually if you see, this is 302 and this is 200. Okay, so both are the request of this that transaction only, that user action, right? One was 302. So as I said, right, sometimes 302 can occur, redirect. Okay. So what is the concept of redirect? I'll be explaining in future, but for now we can understand. So this was the request, and then it redirected here. Okay, it redirected to this request, right, which is a get request. So always remember that 302 requests will always be in 302 also. You'll always see only 302. Okay, they will be always redirected to 1 200 request. They will be interlinked. Okay, so that so one transaction can have two requests or more than that. Sometimes they can be have more than that. So one more example also. Suppose yeah, we'll click on this. I'll try to select anything. This hooker, this hooker. I'll click, right. So we have one request here. How you will identify the request? Which is that request related to the transaction? We clicked on the cooker, right? We have so many cooker, but what was the request? So you will always take you can always take reference of that and try to find what is the matching content. You can see here, right? Even though if you want to try more, you will see it will be of document type HTML. So how to find that? Okay, understand. That is more important. So it will should be generally a GET request. Okay, and the name will be almost matching with this. Not exactly, but it should be matching. Type document, initiator document, type HTML, and its size. You'll see its size will be very big compared to all the sizes that you see here. Like yeah, if you see transferred byte or received byte whole size, this is very big compared to all this thing we have, right? Anything which is there or above, this is having the biggest size, right? And then how to be more sure? So you have to be more sure, you have to click on that, and you will always see that it should bring a response. So yeah, see, it is bringing the response. So that is the that is how we have to identify. We identify that. Now coming to what I was saying, that sometime one request, one transaction can have two or trying to simulate a study scenario. Let's say click that we get a buy now option. Uh, Let us click on this speaker. We have so many speaker. We'll click on it's full, let it fully load, or we can ignore also. And let's suppose this Amazon Eco Pop. I am clicking on that. That buy now option is not. Yeah, we have buy now. So see, page has been loaded, but still here things are going on, right? So that is uh, what happens downside. Many images will be there. They are slowly getting loaded on the page, and that's why we see this processing is still going on. You can see even though page is loaded. Okay, so our focus was clear this. So I will click on buy now. So when we click on buy now, it goes to this page, right? And then you can see two requests will be there. Do you see here? First is 302 post request buy now, and then here, okay, you can match this request with here also, right? But we should also consider the 302, which is here. Okay, it's same way. You can see document HTML, and then so from here this request redirected to this request. So that is why they are called redirect. So two requests. Okay, we have two requests. First is this, and then this. Right. So this you'll be able to understand more. I'll add. So this is one website. So this is homepage of the website. You see, it's very simple, and we have related request here. Get request. You can see document HTML, right? And even if you click, you will get the response. So that's fine. Other are embedded resources, right? Now, so that is launch, and this is the request. So one launch transaction, one request, right? Now login. So here already username and password are given. Now I'll click on login. So login is another transaction, right? One user action we did. But if you see, there are three requests. If you see here, 302, again 302, and then here 200. So sometimes 302 can be one time, sometimes they can be three time or two time also. Okay. So do you see they are all same? If you see both are document HTML, document HTML, document HTML, right? We have to consider them also. So first it started 302. Why we have to consider this? Why we cannot consider only get? I'll tell you, because this is a post request. You see, and with this request, if you see the username and password, what we have given is passing in the payload, right? So what happened in redirection? Actually, what happened? That thing are it is not everywhere, but it depends on website to website. So first this request got fired, right? And it took the payload, that payload which we entered, right? Then it 3 not it redirected to this next request which is here, correct? So it redirected to this again. It was 302, means again it redirected, and final redirect it happened was here, okay, here. So one transaction, three requests were there. Okay, two are redirecting and one is the final, and we have to consider all three, because with the first one the payload is going right, then it got redirected here and then here. Okay. Now understand one more thing about this redirecting. Redirecting request will not have a response. Okay. So if I click on redirecting request, and if you go to response, it is showing this response. Okay, this response. But actually, if I go to raw, uh, here it is generally it's showing here. It is showing this content of this content. What you see, it's getting shown over here. Okay. In it is showing in Mozilla Firefox, but I try to, this is our Google Chrome. Here also things you can understand, right? But there it looks a little bit more good way. So I try to say that initially you want to understand, try to use Mozilla Firefox. So here also do you see clearly login, then 302, 302, or both it's clearly showing document redirect, and this is the final one wanted, right? And as I'm saying, okay, let it load. Page got loaded. So the first, what I'm saying is it doesn't have response. 302 request is carrying the payload that you can see, but they will not be having response because it gets redirected. This request went, then it got redirected to another, and then it got redirected to this. So three time here it happened. Sometime one time also. In previous example, it was only one time, right? So it has also do not have response. Then this where it got so from here it got redirected to this request, which is this, right? And it has also do not have response, correct? Then from here this got redirected to this final one, which is 200, and this 200 will be having the response, right? Remember. And how it is redirected, uh, if you try to understand, see this waterfall model, correct? You will understand. See, first this request got fired, do you see? And then okay, it's not coming the big yeah, fine. So do you see, first this request was fired, so it got started here and it ended here. When it ended, then this request was fired, right? It started here and it ended here. And then when that ended, then this request was fired, it ended here and it started here and it ended here. So you see, uh, that is how we think how it is redirected, correct? So it went, first request went there, then from there it got redirected to another, then it got redirected. Do you see? Right? And all three we have to consider. So transaction was only one login, but here it is having three requests. Right? So this is important. We have to understand that sometime one transaction can have one request, sometime one transaction can have set of multiple requests. On this page, not only these three requests are there. These three requests are there for just login. Okay, just login of this dashboard. and this JSON logout that you see, that is there. But if you scroll down, there are some tables. Okay, this table, and for this table, there are some data in them. Some information is there. So to fetch this information, there are separate calls being made. There are separate requests being made, and those requests are here downside. You see them. What I told that we have to ignore embedded resources, right? And we have to only consider the main request. Main request will be having either 302, right? 302 or 302, and with our this main document, right? But apart from that, there will be some other requests also, which are called XHR, JSON requests. So do you see here some requests? So there are so many, around 12, 13 are there here also, or here also. You see all are XHR. Okay. So these requests were made to fetch the information of each table. So one example I can give you. Suppose we have here order total, right? Order total table. To find that, but we can check and get sort of. Okay, there will be many. I'll just pick the easiest one. Just want to see incomplete order, right? So we have get order income, right? So if I click on this, and do you see response here? So there are some data. Uh, this data incomplete order is for reflecting. Maybe this is not then uh, order incomplete report. Maybe we'll check this one. Total unpaid order. Yeah. Do you see this content all matching here, right? So this who bought this request bought. Okay. This XHR request bought the content of this table. Right? Same way, suppose one latest order table. Now get latest order. This is get latest. There are for the same table there are two requests. So this get latest order request is bringing the outer table form, and then information inside that will be bought by some call will be there. Latest order list. We need to find actually very minutely. We will get there will be so many. Okay, so no need to create. Like spend more time here. We will be understanding them in future also. We will be logging in this request. And that's why, bestseller by quantity. Suppose. So do you see here bestseller by quantity? Bestseller by quantity. Yeah. So one request here, bestseller by quantity, right? So if you see this content here, or it's like and see like Apple icon, so they are available. Correct. So like that, there so many tables are there. Okay. And for each table, there is separate request being made to fetch the uh, uh, information, right? So all those in requests we have to consider. So here login is very complicated. We see that only login has first three requests above, with just to uh, log in, just to log in this stuff and this stuff, right? Then there are down some separate almost 16 requests are there which are responsible for bringing the values of this table, right? So it all depends on different application to application. So that's why understanding of application is important. Okay, then only we can do anything, right? So hope this point is clear that a transaction can have one HTTP HTML request and set of multiple HTTP. I mean, today I've even explained about the redirecting and yeah, detail about redirecting, right? So when there are multiple HTTP request of a transaction, there will be main request with redirecting request and some other request like etc. And embedded resources obviously will be there. Every page. Now another thing, this HTTP HTML request, they are also called as calls or APIs or endpoint. Okay. So inside IT industry, these requests are also called as calls, APIs, endpoints. Fine. So I believe, hope you people are enjoying these all concepts. Very rare and you'll get these concepts anywhere. Now we have cache and cookies. So this especially will take 1 hour. Uh, so I think we will cover this tomorrow. Then one more day it will take on this stuff application architecture. Tomorrow, yeah, cookie cache and server thing I will try to explain this tomorrow. I'll finish and then one more day on this. So then the core concept will be finished. I think how much we spend almost 5 days. No, not five, 4 days we spent here. Fine, 4 days, correct. Okay, so 5 days we spent. Right. Yeah, right, correct. So hope you got the point, right? So tomorrow I'll be explaining this cookie and cache and then this sorry yeah, browser cookie and cache which will take 1 hour and then about this client side and server side. So in this only I'll be answering query asked by yesterday. It was asked by one of the attendee like do we consider embedded resources also or not in performance testing, right? So I'll be answering this probably tomorrow. We'll finish this. Then we'll talk about architecture. So it will take 1 day, right? And then we will enter JMeter again and we'll try to understand the tool and we'll do scripting and all those things, how that is done, right? And more detailed session on the JMeter and slowly it will go like that, right? Fine. So that is for today. Any questions? Okay, no question, right? So then, fine. Uh, we can wrap up. Bye. Take